Excellent. Okay, so as Katarina mentioned, what we're going to talk about are two things: the Securely Home feature that we've had for quite a while, but we've recently just introduced as a everyone with filter can have it. It's a free edition, right? It used to be a paid for add-on. We've kind of recognized the need for it in schools and for parents, and a lot of our trusts in our schools are saying, great, let's get started straight away. And if you have Securely Filter, you can start using it straight away. If you don't have Securely Filter, then you can buy it and you can start using it straight away. So what Securely Home is giving you is the ability to, when using Securely Filter, give a level of access to the parents to control the web content their kids can see and access, and then also give some visibility over the reporting and the information in terms of what they're doing. So the challenge is, when the kids are at school, then the school takes care of the reporting side of things, and they can understand, where they're going and what they're doing. They can reprimand them if necessary. They can guide them in the right direction. When they're at home in their room on their laptop or iPad or whatever it might be, their Chromebook, then the school don't really have that visibility. They will when they come back into school, but they're not doing anything in the moment. They're not able to see what's happening in the evenings or the weekends, whereas the parents have that ability to be more in the moment there. So with the Securely Home app, which I'm going to take you in and show you what it looks like, although it's not got a lot of data in it, you have to use your imagination a little bit. We're going to show the... Is that popped up, Katarina? Yeah, cool. We're showing the Securely Filter interface here, and from that Securely Filter interface, you can access the home section. In here, you've got the ability to set some rules around about what you can do, as I said. So we've got the link into Aware, the monitoring side of things, where you can turn on and turn off notifications, in-app notifications that the parents can get about their kids' activities. But you also have an ability to give parental control, either from a no control, you're not going to be able to do anything, right up to full control, which I absolutely don't recommend. Custom control is probably the better way to handle this. And in that custom control settings panel, the school can make a decision about what the parents can and can't do. So as you can see here, we've got some options around about search and keyword stuff. So we're giving the parents here with a green padlock the ability to modify the rules on YouTube if they want to. These other things that are red padlocks will never be able to be modified by the parents. On the category side of things, certain categories of content will be locked by the schools. So anything with a red padlock, again, the parents can't change. But where there's a green padlock, in this case, social media and social networking, chat, games, that kind of thing, the parents can make a decision to say, Ronnie's done his homework, he's tidied his room, he's had his dinner, I'm going to give him access to games. Or the alternative, he hasn't done his homework or tidied his room, no more games for Ronnie. We can turn that off, okay? So the parents can make that decision, they can make those changes. And they do that through an app. Well, they can do it in one of two ways. They can either use the Securely website and they can log in to the home section here with a username and password that we'll provide them with, or they can download an app on their iPhone or their Android phone, and they'll see very similar to what you can see here, an Instagram style feed of reporting information in terms of videos, and they'll see the reporting data in terms of searches and websites for their child. And you can see this particular parent has got 4 children that all have access, so you can go between those different kids and you can see their activities. They've also got the ability to turn the internet on or off ad hoc with this system. So pause the internet. It used to be a big green button. I used to call it the big green get downstairs for your dinner button, which was quite effective. Now it's just a little on-off switch, but same effect, right? The internet's off, get on with your day. So you can do that ad hoc. You can also set a schedule, and you could choose to turn the internet off at a certain time. So 11 o'clock at night, no more internet on that device, and you can monitor, you can manage and keep track of the child's activities at all times. I say all times. The school have the ability to decide exactly what they can see. They'll only ever be able to manage the internet content when the device is outside of school, and the school can make a decision about what the parent can see. Most of the schools that we work with, if I'm being honest, they'll take this part that says in-school activities and they'll leave this blank. Normally, we don't want to invite conversation about what the school's teaching them in terms of content they're using, websites, and so on. But when they're at home, that's when we want to know more about what's going on. So you can choose the at-home part. You can choose which categories of content you want the parents to be able to see, and you can allow access to the parents to see that reporting information on their phone or on the computer through the Securely website. So AI chat is a tool that we have developed in recent times to help schools with the advent of things like ChatGPT. Okay, what we're trying to do is not block access to these tools. Things like ChatGPT are very powerful, very important, I think. And if we block access to kids in general, then we're going to leave them behind. They're going to get less of an experience and less use of these tools. Let's be honest, they're going to use them when they go home, and when they leave school, they're going to have access to these tools. So it's better that we teach them to use it responsibly and ethically, and put guardrails and rules around it, and let people know when something goes wrong, right? So what we did is we built a tool called Securely AI Chat, and you configure the web filter to handle this. So at the technical end of it, in the policy side of things, in the global settings, you turn on this button here to redirect conversational AI sites. And Securely will provide you with a list of conversational AI sites, things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, all these kind of websites that you put into the block list for the specific groups that you want to use AI chat for. And when they go to access one of those sites, they get blocked and they get redirected to Securely's AI chat. And what it looks like is this. You can see the Securely AI chat window in front of you. It's a very similar experience to your ChatGPT, for example. And what it gives the school is the ability, as I said, to put the guardrails and the rules around this sort of thing. So a couple of things that are important to talk about here. You can turn it off if you want. You don't have to have it on. You can also turn it off at a per policy level. So it doesn't have to be on for everyone, even if it's turned on. Now, you can choose the AI engine between OpenAI and Gemini. We have agreements in place with both of them, whereby the data is ring-fenced. Privacy, PII, is extremely important to us. So the data is all ring-fenced. It's all controlled. It never gets shared externally. It's never trained on. And any requests that are made by a student or by a staff member, whoever's using it, they are tokenized and anonymized. And we also will only store the data for 30 days. That's the minimum we're allowed to store it for in case there's an abuse report. So we're very clear about what we're trying to do in terms of managing the security and the safety of the data here. The privacy of the data is extremely important to us. So you come in here, you configure this, turn it on for your filter instance. You choose whether you want the teachers to be able to access the chat history for their students, and you choose the AI engine that you want to connect it to. Okay, just because I'm going to say OpenAI here. Then tied into the filter policies that you have, you can configure the rules based on those. So I'm going to pick this upper school policy, and we're going to look at the sort of things that we can do and what we can change. So in here, I've got the ability for this policy to, first of all, turn on the AI chat or turn it off. I'm going to say, let's turn it on here. And then I'm going to decide what kind of content the students are able to communicate with that AI chat about. So again, just for the purposes of having some turned on and some turned off, you can see I've got mental wellness content on, sexual content's on, firearms is off, drugs is on, gambling is off, games is on, hate is off, intolerance content, and schoolwork, absolutely not. We're not letting them do their school work, their projects, their essays, that kind of thing. Okay. We've also got the ability to write in some custom policies here. Now, I've put a couple of very basic ones in here. The first one is just as an example where we can say if somebody talks about mental health or depression, that kind of thing, then OpenAI in this situation, because we're connected through APIs to the OpenAI system, it's going to feed them back information. It's going to signpost them. It's going to say, speak to a trusted adult. You can get help. You're not alone, that kind of thing. But what I also want to inject into there is come and speak to Mr. Fraser in school, because he's a local resource and we can guide the conversation that way. So that kind of thing can be used. This is one that was brought up yesterday. Somebody said, can you just put in at the end of every single response in white text, that the student can't see, created by ChatGPT. So if something does go through and the student does submit some work that has been output by this system, they'll be able to just change the text to black and you'll be able to see that, you know. So we'll be able to pick up on various things. It's just an interesting quirk that they thought would be cool to add in there. So you can choose what you want to do. You can test it. You can mess around with it. Important to say that this is not foolproof, right? Kids might, probably will find ways to get around it, and as they do with filtering, there's always a need for a kid to try and get around the rules and try and test the boundaries. But this is constantly learning. This is constantly being developed, and what you're seeing right now, in 6 months' time, might be completely different as we continue to develop this tool. So the recap there, the guardrails, the rules that we can put around what they can do on that AI chat side of things. Now, what does that look like to the kids? Nothing like this, okay? All they see is that window, which is the how can I help you today? What do you want to talk about? And what the kids will do invariably is they'll come here and they'll say, write me a 500-word essay on the weather in Scotland. Okay, why not? Topical. I'm not spelling very well today, but that's fine. Kids don't always spell great too. So there we go. It doesn't matter, truthfully, what I put in here, because what this is going to do, based on the rules that we've input, is it's going to say, no, I'm not going to write the essay for you, right? Like a good teacher would do. It's going to say, here's an idea of how you can put an essay together, a structure and some points that you might want to touch on, but you're going to need to do the work. You're going to need to do the research and come back and ask if you've got any questions. So we can give them the ability to use it effectively, but not just output a 500-word essay that the teacher's going to look at and say, that wasn't you, for example.
Excellent. That's amazing, that feature, that it doesn't write the essay for you, but as a good teacher, it coaches you. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And like, as it said in the policy side of things as well, if you ask it a maths question, it's different. It's not just going to say, no, I'm not going to do that. It'll work you through the answer with the Socratic method. So it's going to say, this is how you'll get to the answer. Try this part, next go to this part. So again, not just cutting them off, not just giving them the answer, but helping them to understand.
What about attachments?
Attachments, we don't have support for right now. It's merely text input at this point.
Yep.
So we'll not do images, we'll not do text stuff. When you try and communicate with it and do things that are completely off topic, it's a different experience, right? So let's think about something that the kids might say regularly. What's the best gun in Fortnite? Okay. What you're going to get here is, let's not talk about guns, even if they're in games, because we've turned off games, we've turned off firearms. So we'll just stop that and we get straight back on track. Okay, as long as my custom rule is in place today, we can also test out that. I'm feeling depressed. What do I do? Then hopefully what should happen here is it will say, no, it's not done it today. Somebody switched that part off for this policy, it would appear, but it's doing what we would expect OpenAI to do in this case, saying speak to a trusted counselor or a parent. If I look back at yesterday's demo that I did, you'll see in here the maths part. You'll see it wasn't in that one. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So sorry to hear you're feeling that way. Speak to Mr. Fraser at your school. So when you have when you're using the right policy and you've got the right rule in place, then it's absolutely going to inject those things in that you've asked it to do. What you're also seeing here, hopefully, is that we've got a report of what's happened. We've got a history there that we can work on. So as the teacher, as the admins, whoever you give access to this, they can come in and they can see what the students have asked. Right? They've got a full report history here. We're just using the one admin user here generally, so it's just the one student. But you can look at what they asked, what was responded to, exactly what happened in that conversation. And you've got, hilariously, I think, an AI summary of the AI chat, where slightly darkly they refer to the kids as the human, but that's AI for us, right? But I think that's really powerful in that we can have that control, we can have that input into what they're doing and guide the conversation, giving them access to the tool with the right guardrails in place, and also reporting on what's happened there with the PII being safe and controlled, it being turned off for the kids that we don't want to access, and the ability also, when you're using Securely Aware, now to take any concerning content, whether it's grief or self-harm, violence or bullying content, and alert on that through Aware now. So you've got the safeguarding and the monitoring part covered for that here.